Book review: Sherlock Holmes, the complete collection by Arthur Conan Doyle, an enduring tapestry of logic, mystery, and Victorian life. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes, the complete collection is not simply a monumental contribution to detective fiction. It is a literary artifact that helped shape an entire genre and continues to captivate readers over a century after its creation. Spanning 4 novels and 56 short stories, this body of work represents singular achievement in serial fiction, memorable character development, thematic complexity, and social commentary, all wrapped in the timeless appeal of mystery. Plot summary: Sherlock Holmes, the complete collection, gathers all the adventures, novellas, and short stories featuring the iconic detective Sherlock Holmes and his loyal companion, Dr. John Watson. Set primarily in Victorian and Edwardian London, the collection showcases Holmes's brilliant deductive reasoning, attention to detail, and unmatched intellect as he solves mysteries that baffle both Scotland Yard and the general public. The series begins with study Charlotte, where Dr. Watson, newly returned from service in Afghanistan, meets Holmes for the first time. The pair quickly form a bond, and Watson becomes the chronicler of Holmes's cases. Their first mystery involves baffling murder with connections to the American West and secretive Mormon sect, establishing Holmes' signature method of solving crimes through logical deduction. In the Sign of the Four, Holmes and Watson investigate a case involving a stolen treasure, betrayal, and a pact made among 4 convicts in India. This novel deepens the reader's understanding of Holmes' character, including his drug use and emotional detachment, while also developing Watson's personal life, including his romantic relationship with Mary Morstan. The short collections: The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, The Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes, The Return of Sherlock Holmes, His Last Bow, and The Case Book of Sherlock Holmes, are filled with unforgettable mysteries. Among these are The Adventure of the Speckled Band, involving deadly swamp batter; The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle, quirky case involving stolen jewel hidden in a Christmas goose; and The Adventure of the Final Problem, where Holmes confronts his arch-nemesis Professor Moriarty at the Reichenbach Falls. Believed to have died in this encounter, Holmes' supposed death shocked readers and led to public outcry, prompting Conan Doyle to resurrect him in later stories. The Hound of the Baskervilles, perhaps the most famous of all Holmes stories, is a Gothic tale of legendary beasts haunting the moors of Devonshire. During time when Holmes is presumed dead, it remains one of the most atmospheric and suspenseful entries in the series. In the Valley of Fear, Holmes and Watson unravel murder tied to secret societies in America. The story juxtaposes Holmes's London investigation with a lengthy flashback to the past events in the U.S., once again blending international intrigue with local mystery. The final stories in His Last Bow and The Case Book of Sherlock Holmes show a more reflective Holmes. In the title story of His Last Bow, Holmes emerges from retirement to serve his country as spy on the eve of World War I. Other later stories, such as The Adventure of the Sussex Vampire and The Adventure of the Retired Colorman, continue to reveal Holmes's enduring brilliance even as age catches up with him. Throughout the collection, the chemistry between Holmes and Watson serves as the emotional backbone. Watson, ever faithful and sometimes baffled, acts as the reader's lens into Holmes's genius. Together, they explore the underbelly of London society, from aristocrats to beggars, in pursuit of justice. Ultimately, Sherlock Holmes, the complete collection, offers a timeless tapestry of mystery, logic, and the enduring appeal of one of literature's greatest detectives. The collection not only entertains but also reflects Victorian anxieties, moral questions, and the fascination with science and rational thought. The genius of Sherlock Holmes, an iconic character study at the heart of this collection, is Sherlock Holmes himself, character who has transcended the page diction to become cultural archetype. Holmes is portrayed as man of science, logic, and method, with his deerstalker hat, pipe, violin, and peculiar personality quirks. Holmes is brilliant observer and deducer, often bordering on the superhuman. What makes him particularly compelling, however, is not just his intellect but his eccentricities, his indifference to social norms, his sometimes cold demeanor, and his flirtation with vice, particularly his use of cocaine, which he turns to during bouts of boredom. Holmes's emotional restraint is contrasted by the warm humanity of Dr. John H. Watson, the narrator of most of the stories. Watson is not only Holmes's loyal companion, but also the voice of the reader. Often astonished by Holmes's insights, yet offering balance and empathy, their dynamic is central to the success of the series. Watson's steadfast admiration never devolves into blind idolization. Instead, he provides a grounded view of Holmes, making the detective's brilliance more accessible. Structure and narrative strategy. Model of serial storytelling. One of the most effective elements of the collection is its structure. While the novels Study in Scarlet, The Four, The Hound, The Baskervilles, and The Valley of Fear allow for deeper plotting and more elaborate developments, it is the short stories where Doyle's mastery truly shines. Stories such as The Adventure of the Speckled Band, The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle, and The Adventure of the Dancing Men are concise, punchy, and perfectly paced. Most stories follow formulaic structure. An introduction in 221 Baker Street, client's appearance, investigation, deduction, and resolution. Despite this, Doyle introduces enough variation in plot, setting, and tone to keep readers engaged across dozens of stories. The episodic nature makes the collection accessible. Readers can enjoy each case as self-contained mystery while still appreciating the overarching continuity of character development and evolving relationships. Watson's first-person narration, sometimes tinged with awe and affection, lends warmth to the tale's and subtly developed sense of emotional continuity. The stories also occasionally shift to third-person or include flashbacks, as in The Valley of Fear, showcasing Doyle's narrative versatility. Themes, logic, morality, and the human condition. Defining feature of Holmes's method is his reliance on deductive reasoning. Each case demonstrates the power of observation, logic, and scientific method. Reflection of Victorian-era faith in rationalism. Holmes famously declares, "When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth." His methods prefigure modern forensic science, making the stories not just entertaining but intellectually satisfying. Beyond logic, the stories also grapple with themes of justice, morality, and human fallibility. Holmes often operates outside the boundaries of formal law, choosing not to report certain criminals when he deems their actions morally justified or sufficiently punished. This moral ambiguity adds depth to the series, suggesting that justice is not always found in black and white legal codes. Several stories also engage with the notion of duality, contrast between appearance and reality. Many criminals in the Holmes canon are outwardly respectable citizens hiding dark secrets. The tension between social respectability and private vice mirrors anxieties in Victorian society about class, morality, and identity. Another recurring theme is colonialism and the global reach of the British Empire. Stories like The Sign of the Four and The Crooked Man involve colonial settings, Indian mutinies, or exotic artifacts reflecting the imperial backdrop of the time. While such depictions can be criticized for Orientalist tropes, they also provide historical insight into Britain's worldview and the anxieties associated with empire. Holmes in the role of the outsider. Sherlock Holmes is quintessential outsider. He shuns fame, avoids romantic entanglements, and regards emotions as hindrances to clear thinking. He is consulting detective, an occupation he invented, who operates at the margins of society, assisting but never fully joining the official police force. His outsider status is what enables his unique perspective. Holmes is immune to the prejudices that often cloud the judgment of the police. Inspector Lestrade and his peers at Scotland Yard are frequently portrayed as competent but unimaginative, reliant on routine methods rather than innovation. Holmes, in contrast, listens to his intuition and trusts his intellect, often solving cases that the authorities cannot. Watson, though more grounded in society, Holmes also becomes something of an outsider by association. His life is increasingly shaped by his partnership with Holmes, and he frequently puts his own safety, comfort, and relationships at risk to assist in investigations. Their bond becomes a subtle study of male friendship and loyalty, free from the need for dramatization. A mirror of the Victorian and Edwardian worlds. One of the pleasures of reading the complete Holmes collection is the window it offers into Victorian and Edwardian London. Doyle meticulously evokes the fog-filled streets, hansom cabs, gas lamps, and complex social hierarchies of the era. From opium dens in the East End to stately manors in the countryside, each story immerses the reader in a richly detailed world. The stories also reflect changing social roles, particularly regarding women. While Doyle was not a feminist by modern standards, he did craft several memorable female characters. Most notably, Irene Adlerian, a scandal in Bohemia, is the only person to outwit Holmes, earning his enduring respect. Other stories, such as The Adventure of the Copper Beeches and The Adventure of the Solitary Cyclist, feature women in peril who exhibit courage and agency. Holmes's clientele includes members of the aristocracy, middle class, and even the criminal underworld. This social breadth contributes to the story's appeal and emphasizes the detective's impartiality. He serves justice, not status. The literary legacy and modern relevance. Doyle's invention of Sherlock Holmes laid the groundwork for nearly every fictional detective that followed. The influence can be seen in characters from Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot to Talbot. Gregory House. Holmes's emphasis on reason, pattern recognition, and forensic detail remains the gold standard for detective fiction. Beyond genre, Holmes has become a mythic figure. Adaptations have appeared in radio, film, television, stage, and literature across every generation. Benedict Cumberbatch, Robert Downey Jr., Jeremy Brett, and others have interpreted Holmes in modern and period contexts, proving the character's remarkable elasticity. The stories also continue to resonate because of their celebration of the human intellect. In a world increasingly dominated by information, data, and analysis, Holmes's brand of rational inquiry feels both nostalgic and relevant. At the same time, his emotion, distance, and occasional arrogance remind us that intelligence must be tempered by empathy, critical reflections, and limitations. While the Holmes stories have endured with good reason, they are not without flaws. As mentioned, some portrayals of foreign characters or colonial themes reflect racial stereotypes and imperialist attitudes. Modern readers may find these depictions problematic, though they can also serve as historical documents of the prevailing views of the time. Additionally, the stories are sometimes criticized for their formulaic nature. Doyle himself grew weary of Holmes, famously attempting to kill him off in The Final Problem before public demand forced a revival. In later stories, one occasionally detect a sense of fatigue or mechanical plotting. Still, even the lesser tales contain moments of brilliance and character insight. Conclusion. A timeless masterpiece of detective fiction, Sherlock Holmes, the complete collection is more than just an anthology. It is a celebration of the detective genre at its finest, with its unforgettable protagonist, richly drawn settings, and tightly plotted mysteries. The collection offers both entertainment and intellectual stimulation. It explores timeless themes, justice, identity, human nature, and does so with style and wit. Whether you are a first-time reader or returning fan, the complete works provide a rewarding experience. Each story contributes to the evolving portrait of Holmes and Watson, and together they form one of the most influential bodies of work in English literature. For those interested in mystery, history, or character-driven storytelling, Arthur Conan Doyle's masterwork remains a must-read. Sherlock Holmes may belong to the past, but his brilliance, curiosity, and pursuit of truth are as compelling now as they were over 100 years ago.